It's the move of the century. More than 150,000 pieces of artwork have left the Pompidou Centre in Paris, which is closing its doors for 5 years.
5 years is too long, but it's what's required for a project of this magnitude.
It's a period of transformation for the centre, but also a chance to show off its collections.
The closure offers certain opportunities, like being able to ask for exceptional loans.
Masterpieces have been sent to new sites around the world, to the delight of the public and experts.
We are all using the museum's closure to experiment with how we tell the story of modern art.
In July 2025, the Pompidou Centre's final exhibition was dismantled in the main gallery space. Paintings from the Paris Noir show were examined before being packed up and sent back to their homes. For the museum staff, it marked the end of an era and the beginning of a break from the routine.
We're feeling very nostalgic because we're very attached to the museum. There's a real family spirit here at the Pompidou Centre, so it's going to be hard for us to see the museum closed. We know it's not a goodbye though, just a 5-year hiatus, but we're already looking forward to its reopening.
On the other floors, silence. The move began in March, with the pieces that were the easiest to transport. Boasting some 150,000 works of art, the museum houses the most important collection of its kind in Europe. It's second only to the MoMA in New York. They've left the largest installations for last, lifting them out using cranes. They'll be returned to the museum's storage rooms. Now it's goodbye to the Beaubourg district in the center of Paris for at least 5 years.
Five years is too long, but at the same time it's what's required for a project of this magnitude, on a building which spans 70,000 square meters. Bringing it up to spec involves 3 things. Firstly, removing asbestos. It's a 1970s building in which asbestos was used liberally, and it's essential for the safety of the people who work there and for the visitors to remove this asbestos. Secondly, there is an environmental agenda, and we expect to improve energy efficiency by 60% after the renovations are done. And finally, there's a general overhaul of its cultural mission.
The Pompidou Centre hopes to raise 180 million euros for this cultural overhaul, in addition to the 260 million that the government's investing in asbestos removal. Considerable sums of money that should transform the site.
We are in the main hall, which will remain the public entrance in the future Pompidou Centre. But this will be enlarged to allow the public to go down the steps to a new space called the Agora, which will contain exhibitions, cinemas and performances. On the right, there will be a new generation hub, offering activities for young people. On the left, there will be shops, bookstores and a restaurant opening onto the city towards the Stravinsky fountain. And we'll be adding the brand new library on the 2nd and 3rd floors, the collections on the 4th and 5th floors with a new layout, then exhibitions on the 6th floor. And icing on the cake, the chance to go up to the roof of the 7th floor to admire the view.
As one institution closes, another opens. The Pompidou Centre in the Paris region should be welcoming visitors at the end of 2026.
The Pompidou Centre of the Greater Paris region is a wonderful project that we've been working on for several years with two objectives. One, to provide a setting with the optimal conditions for conserving the artwork. And two, to create a small Pompidou Centre in the middle of the Essonne department, attracting school children and members of the public who do not come to Paris to visit the Pompidou Centre, but who will have the opportunity to discover some of the collection in Massy.
Making art a vibrant, live experience, accessible to all, is the Pompidou Centre's central philosophy. At the heart of its 1970s design by architects Richard Rogers and Renzo Piano.
C'est pas le Centre Pompidou qui a provoqué la révolution, mais il était quand même un bon interprète de cette révolution.
A revolution that ruffled some feathers at the time.
On dirait une carcasse. Et je ne suis pas seule de mon avis. Vous savez, tous les gens dans le quartier à qui on en parle ont la même opinion.
C'est trop compliqué pour moi.
C'est une boîte, une prison.
J'entends pas d'avance la cinquième de Beethoven là-dedans ou le sacre du printemps.
C'est la plus grande tentative culturelle que la France ait faite depuis le début de ce siècle.
When it opened on January 31st, 1977, the centre's director was Pontus Hultén. The Swedish curator had an eye for new talents and for innovative ideas.
When the Pompidou Centre opened its doors in 1977, it was a real event in Paris and even in the world, because this type of cultural centre didn't exist then. Pontus Hultén was instrumental in defining what the Pompidou Centre was, and he extended a rather exceptional invitation to two artists who he particularly admired and he had known since the 1950s, Niki de Saint-Phal and Jean Tinguy. He invited them to create a huge installation in the Pompidou Centre's main hall. So the public arrived and saw a work in progress. That's the anarchist side of the three of them, the two artists and Pontus Hultén, also making the public understand that by interacting with the work, individuals can feel free and autonomous. And so the Pompidou Centre gave the public a completely new frame of reference and displayed an exceptionally open-minded approach. Now the work of artists Niki de Saint-Phal and Jean Tinguy has been reunited with Pontus Hultén's vision for a joint exhibition at the Grand Palais. And it's here in this Parisian landmark that the Pompidou Centre's temporary exhibitions will continue to be held while construction work is taking place at the Beaubourg site over the coming years.
This partnership was decided for two reasons. The timetable aligns very well, since the Pompidou Centre is closing in 2025 and the Grand Palais began to reopen in 2024 with the Olympic Games here. The second factor is the complementary nature of our institutions. We will have access to one of the world's largest collections of modern and contemporary art, and the Pompidou Centre will have a venue that's been refurbished, that meets museum standards, and that has a history of major exhibitions, indeed major national exhibitions.
The Grand Palais is not the only cultural space to benefit from the Pompidou Centre's renovations. They've organised a programme called Constellations, which sends exhibitions to other museums in France and abroad. One of those sites is the Pompidou Centre's offshoot, located in Metz, in the east of France.
The metamorphosis of the Pompidou Centre in Paris offers certain opportunities. One of them is being able to ask for exceptional loans. André Breton's studio, which is leaving Paris for the first time and comprises nearly 255 objects. We've also been given permission to host pieces that are sometimes fragile to transport and difficult to move, such as Sonia Delaunay's Balboulier, which is a painting on mattress ticking. So these are fragile items that have never left Paris before.
Objects, paintings and sculptures that, up until now, had been on display in the French capital.
These are sculptures by Henry Moore and Henry Lawrence that were on the terrace of the Pompidou Centre Paris and have now been moved here. We're also undergoing a transformation thanks to Paris, with a new exhibition space that we have incorporated into the architecture and history of the building here.
Another major loan took place over the summer as the Pompidou Centre transferred some of its masterpieces to the Grimaldi Forum in Monaco. In this circular space, the 20th century's most renowned artworks have been arranged not by movement or period, but by colour.
We are all taking advantage of the Pompidou Centre's closure to experiment with how we tell the story of modern art. Modern art at the Pompidou Centre was strictly chronological, and the experiment here is to break with chronology. Here you can see paintings from the 1910s alongside pop art from the 1960s, contemporary art from today, and so on. We are breaking free from a number of rules and codes with a goal to perhaps finding new approaches to apply at the Pompidou Centre when it reopens in 2030.
The Colours exhibition welcomed more than 75,000 visitors in less than 2 months. Proof that the Pompidou Centre continues to draw the crowds, even hundreds of miles away from its iconic structure in Paris.